Young men have not become much more conservative, at least according to Gallup, but they have become more Republican. So you have this interesting...
Wait, say that again, the men?
They have not identified as more conservative, but they are becoming more Republican. So from the Obama era, young men and young women were Democrats. Right? In point of fact, you had 6 in 10 young men who are moderates vote for Trump, and more than 1 in 5 liberal young men vote for Trump. If we're going to look for explanations, we need to move beyond issues. We need to understand, there's something about Trump that was attractive, and then there's something about the Democratic Party, at least in its current manifestation, that was repellent.
I was really struck by you saying, especially, that that would surprise a lot of young women like myself to hear that. I was surprised.
Mm-hmm. So what is it that we're missing about, or what is it that people who are not, as Magdalene said, people who don't understand why? That's my first question. I have a second one, but go ahead.
Okay, so what I would start with is men aspire to be bigger, stronger, and faster than we are, almost universally. That's why superheroes are popular. That's why pro athletes are popular. Who is the most masculine Democrat right now in America? Mayor Pete.
Is that a gay joke?
No. Mayor Pete. No, it's just that he's not particularly masculine. Nobody's like, oh, Mayor Pete, he's a badass. Chuck Schumer. Is anybody like, hey, Chuck Schumer holding up an avocado and a beer to talk about the Super Bowl? Is anybody like that trying to grill? Is anybody like, hey, that's a dude I want to hang out with?
But Trump's like a grandpa.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Trump took a bullet in his ear and immediately stood up and said, fight, fight, fight. Every man in America and most of the women out here were impressed by that, even if the women won't admit it. She's shaking her head strong. And second part of this, basically summing it up, Democrats for men are pussies and Republicans
Democrats for men
are pussies. There are no masculine men in the Democrat Party right now.
Yes.
They're the Instagram stars, and the men are their agents. So that's a really confusing situation.
This is something I'll say that the women are all going to agree with me on. It's going to shock you. Men are not living up to the expectations that you have for men, which is why a lot of women are single. They can't find men of the same achievement level as them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they don't want to worry that in addition to having to raise kids, they're going to have to drag a man around and be the breadwinner and the mom.
Right. So what do you? So that's the key. That's that. Right. Well, I mean, there's a class. We're not talking about class here. So let's put that aside.
But I think this is important too. 60% of college graduates now are women.
Right.
Right. So it is impossible. Sorry, girls. For every woman.
There are no girls here. Just
girls, boys,
yes.
You're girls and boys to me too, as well as men and women. I know it's policing language is a big part of what the Atlantic does, not what we do at Outkick.
The Atlantic is barely liberal, so.
Yes.
Yes.
Also has never made a profit without a multi-billionaire running it, which is worth knowing too. But unlike my company, which is wildly profitable because we speak to a big audience of people. But I do think if you look at 60% of women graduating from college, 40% are men, the math doesn't add up.